Hello and welcome to another Agent is In. This is episode 52, and I wanted to show you guys a cool feature that's coming in 3.27 that I have been waiting for a long time. But first, let's see here. How do I share my video? Let me share my screen. You may... Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a really old meme. 11 years ago, I guess that was posted, of changing permissions that are enforced by CFEngine, because CFEngine runs periodically and then we'll come around behind and fix those permissions. But the feature that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the immutable bit, which is coming in 3.27. So now CFEngine will be able to handle immutable files, edit them, mark them unimmutable, transparently edit them, and make them re-immutable. So I wanted to show you guys what that looked like. I guess perhaps first we could take a look at the documentation for this. Let me share that. And feel free to stop me if you have questions. Let me boost this a little bit more. Is this big enough to read? Too big to be in the right place?
Looks good.
Okay, let's go to the right place. There we go. All right. So 3.27, a new body that is useful on files type promises. fsattrs. Currently, it only has a single attribute, which is immutable, and you can set that to true or false, or yes or no, any of the CF bool values. But if it is set to immutable on a file's promise, CFEngine will make sure that that file is immutable at the end of the promise actuation. So if the file is already immutable and CFEngine sees that it needs to change it, it's going to make it mutable, and then it will make the changes and make it immutable again. If you have it set to false, and CFEngine is managing the file, and the file happens to be immutable, CFEngine will make sure that it's not mutable. And if you haven't specified, then it's going to do what CFEngine has always done, which is just fail if it tries to edit an immutable file, in which case you'll have a promise not kept. So this just gives you, another way to kind of throw down a roadblock for whatever else might be changing the files on your system if you don't want them to. Let's see if there's anything else in here that's interesting. No, it's coming in 3.27. Okay, so let's take a look at some example policy. Let me switch what I'm sharing here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's it.
Cool. And is it big enough to read?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. All right. So I've got a pretty not interesting example, I guess, because it's just kind of exercising the functionality from a couple of different perspectives. I just want to walk you through it. So first, I've got this range here, and that's because at some point I've got like 7 or 8 different test files that I'm working with, and I'm going to iterate over that range. So I lay down this classic template text, which can have CFEngine variables and CFEngine class expressions to guard sections. I just have a CFEngine variables in there to demonstrate some content. Same thing for an external mustache template. And then I just use those kind of immediately. So here we can see that the first file is using that external classic template, which is a CFEngine template engine. And it's going to use this fsattrs is immutable body. And we can jump down here to take a look at what fsattrs is immutable looks like. So you use it just like this. And again, the only special characteristic is it has immutable set to true. Similarly, there's is not immutable, and then there's immutable, which takes a parameter so that you can kind of choose. So let's come back up here and look at the second file. So that's the external mustache template. And then we have an inline mustache template. And then we have edit line managed file. And then a content managed file. Edit XML managed file. And a copy from managed file. So all of these things are marked to be immutable. And then I've got this other Etsy MOTD, which is going to have some content. This one, you'll notice, is not immutable. And then this is going to print out kind of the stats of the 7 test files. So I already have this running, but actually what I want to do here, well, I suppose, let me pull this down. Let's go look at my mission portal real quick. All right, so if I come over and take a look, build, I've already got this hub connected to a build project. When it loads, we will see. There we go. So I've got master files, which is, I think, which is pointed to a commit off of master. We've got my immutable bit example, which is a local module. And then I've added this Etsy MOTD access. Oh man, that's slow. So this module just manages the permissions on Etsy MOTD to be in line with some various compliance frameworks. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And we can see right now, there's no kind of alerts on anything that's running. So that's good. But what I want to do is change this policy that I have here. Where's my cursor? There it is. I'm going to change this so that it is immutable. There's my diff, yes. Stage that, commit that, make MOTD immutable. And let me push that up. And, well, I guess we can do it from here. I'll go ahead and run the update policy, which will pull down those changes from the build project, and run the policy. So here we can see it pulled down the changes from upstream, got them down into inputs, and it's running the policy, and it's it has set the immutable bit on Etsy MOTD already. And then we see that it's failing to set the permissions. So it changed the permissions here from 444 to 777 because that is what we had in the policy right here, 777 and immutable true. And then we see that that other module, Etsy MOTD access, was failing to set the permissions on that. So if I pop over to here, let me go collect reports from that most recent run. Collecting the reports. All right. There we go. So now we have something popping up. So I think what we're going to see over here is our promise not kept from that access policy, that permission policy. So if we drill down into services, CFBS, modules, Etsy MOTD access, Here we go. And sure enough, setting the permissions here failed. And if we look down here, we can just see that operation not permitted. And again, that's simply because that file is immutable. So if we look at fsattr etc you can see that it's immutable. etc you can't modify it. And if we look at all of these files, all of the final destination versions are immutable. The backups before editing are obviously not. So that was my super quick, I guess, demo of that new immutable bit support. I'm super excited about it because I thought it would be nice to have this for a really long time. But I am curious. I've talked to several different people about, let me stop sharing this, about, what your use cases for this might be. What kind of files do you think that you would make immutable? Or are you interested in, making all of the files that CFEngine is managing, or most of the files that CFEngine is managing, immutable? Any questions? Jay.
Hi there.
Hey,
just checking to make sure you can hear me okay. It's going well. Great. Yeah, so we're kind of the converse of this. So in our environment, if we have some really good reason to make a change that is not covered by config management, which is probably going to be something, a short-term emergency while we fix policy, we then create that to be immutable. So CFEngine won't change it. So we kind of take the opposite approach. We're like, okay, immutability is a sign of, like something in, something that needed an override from our configuration in the environment. And in fact, in our monitoring, we have a simple monitoring that looks under like libetsy and a few places in var for immutable files. And if we find immutable files, we flag it not as a critical error. It's never going to wake anybody up, but we can then have a dashboard to see what hosts have immutable files, so that we can then take that into account as we're looking at the CFEngine policy that we develop. Like, if these like VPN headends have some special immutable policy, why don't we then, like some special mutable files, why don't we then include that in policy and make sure that those hosts are being managed, but in the way that we manage everything else in the environment?
Yeah. I expected, I think that's a pattern that it's a pattern I've seen a lot. To mark things immutable so that so that the tool won't go ahead and change them. Interesting. So you use it as kind of a warning system.
Yeah, and also since of course we monitor, we have a monitor on, like, CFEngine did not repair promises. The fact that we can correlate on the system, like, okay, if a system has CFEngine can't repair promises and that system has immutable files, great, we know what's going on there. If CFEngine can't repair promises, then there are no immutable files, then there is something else amiss on that host, and we should be looking into it.
That's interesting. Any other questions about this, or thoughts on how you might use it in your environment, if you would or if you would not use it? What types of things that you think it might help avoid? Some other thoughts that I had while I was thinking about places where this might be useful. Things like SSH known hosts and, some other files that maybe for security you would want a bit controlled, so that changes don't happen to those files that are not expected.
One thing that I didn't. Oh, was that me
Yeah.
echoing?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, one thing I was thinking about was, this immutable bit is like an extended attribute that most people probably don't think about too much. And I was curious, like, what other metadata was available, and I found a reference to extended attributes, and like you can set a thing like user description. You can just describe the file. So then I thought that might be interesting too, where instead of the culture saying the immutable bit was the thing, you could like explicitly say it so that when you get the adders, it just says what it is. You don't have to worry about knowing the meaning. You just state the meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, do we have extended attribute support in files processes?
So no, but
Right.
that was kind of on my radar when I
Yeah.
was inventing, trying to invent syntax for this,
Yeah.
which is what I think led me to this fsattrs body. The
Yeah.
idea that there's room there to, expand it for other file system attributes that you would perhaps want to manage.
Yeah.
But immutable was, again, I'm way too excited for this because I've wanted this one for a decade or more. But okay, so there's no other questions. Should we break something?
Break something.
So here, okay. Well, I do want a little bit more feedback on this. So let me share again. There's that, and let me share over here. Okay, so first of all, here. This is the pull request that I have. Can you see my screen? And can you read it? Is it big enough? Yeah, okay. So this is the pull request that I've got open to master files right now to add these immutable bodies. And I thought it would be nice if I could have a quick review from anybody who cared to look at this with me for a moment. Kind of top level, do you like these three bodies? One where you can send it in as a parameter, and then one where it's just plain is and is not. Craig, I saw your face contort maybe when I was looking at this.
No.
So okay, so CF bool in the C code is the name, the thing that allows these values. That's
Yeah,
where I got
maybe I did cringe on that part because I don't think that's necessarily obvious. So
yeah, it might not be, right? But I was like looking at this and I was like, oh, it'd be nice to include this little tip. And this is how you find out what the valid values are. And I was like, oh, maybe I should use the same value. I know that this is like CF bool because it'll take true, false, yes, no, on, off.
right.
So that's where that name came from. I'm open to changing it.
Yeah, we could probably do a more easy to parse, because I mean you'd have to like look for that symbol in the C code to know exactly what it is. But I mean it's pretty clear. It's a good guess would get you there.
Yeah.
Or you could just change the comment to be CF bool means these things, or a reference to a URL somewhere or something. Yeah.
Oh, I could do that actually probably right here. I need to fix the documentation for the parameter. Actually.
Oh yeah, see there it is. Yeah.
I changed it. It was true or false, and then I was like, oh, CF bool is maybe better. Okay, so all right. So Craig said to change this to match the actual param name. Thanks, Craig.
Sure.
And then I guess anybody else, feel free to just blast in with your audio. You don't have to raise your hand if you do have a comment. But yeah, next question then is, do you like having one that's parameterized and then one of each that's kind of the stated obvious? My thought was maybe this was like easier for a global search and replace at some point. If you needed to do like a large swath change, that would maybe feel better than changing a parameter.
So the other one you might do is a body that sets it according to like a global setting. So like it would be like default immutable maybe. And then augments could then set that default, and then you could just change it in your augments for your whole policy. I mean, that'd be kind of interesting if you made every file that CFEngine manages immutable. Just boom, like that.
Okay. Yes. That thought is on the stack in a different way, which
Great.
I'm going to show you next.
Exactly right.
So you could make all files immutable at once. Okay. Immutable. Okay. So to that point of, hey, oh, Jay, raise your hand.
I did raise my hand. You've just terrified me and everybody I know who manages systems. That would be I think we would avoid that one. But I can see the point of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You know, especially for like if I was managing third-party systems through a thing like this that people had access to, and I didn't want them touching anything.
Oh, so like maybe an MSP use case is maybe a place where this might be used a little bit more heavily.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to work for a Swiss managed services provider that did network security services and endpoint stuff. And, you know, basically the only interface that the customers had was through their dashboards. But, you know, it could make changes, it could make changes on their system. But I could see I could see a more shared model where, where a service provider did grant access, or did share responsibility for managing systems with their customers. I can see a use case for that.
Cool. All right. So now to the horror thought that it was bringing to your mind. I feel like. All right. So. Oh, this is another perhaps little known feature. Did you know that you can attach a body to any promise that doesn't already have a body of that type attached to it automatically? Craig, did you know that? I think you probably knew.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
I knew that as of about 5 seconds ago.
Okay. So this is a really, cutting edge bleeding feature that was introduced in 3.9. So a couple months ago, which allows you to do that. So if you define a body of the type that you're wanting to attach by default with the name of the promise type that you want to affect, followed by an underscore, and then the type of the body that you're wanting to attach, inside of a body inside of the body default namespace.
Yeah.
Then it will affect all of the promises in the default namespace. Right? So what that would mean if I took this and I put it here.
You said in the default namespace.
Yes, in the default namespace.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we're getting really weedy here. Okay,
Oh, so if you change the namespace to that body default thing, now the ones in here don't get this global
no,
thing.
it's the other way around.
Oh,
So
they
what happens here? Here, let me just let me grab a files promise.
okay.
Um, Man, it would have been quicker to write one.
Uh-huh.
Bundle agent example. Files.
Okay.
Okay, so in the body default namespace, I have defined an fsattrs body named files underscore fsattrs. So all promises in the default namespace that do not have an fsattrs body attached to them will have this automatically attached.
Wow.
So it's like, because we are introducing fsattrs, it was not available before. If I do this, it should have the effect of making every single files promise that I have, because I think everything is in the default namespace by default, all files promises that I have immutable. So I want to do this, and
This is very so this is like super limited, specific, simple version of aspect-oriented programming, right? So in aspect-oriented programming, like in Java, you can specify like a really rich set of descriptions of what kind of methods you want to throw things on, if you want to do something before or after, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, cool.
so this. Let's add a file there that oh yeah, there we go. Add a file there. So it should be immutable, even though it's not explicitly set to immutable. All right, so let's do
Is
this.
this
Make the world immutable. It's like running an immutable Linux distro, but not, right?
is is the is the body and name spelled right? Is it with an E in the middle?
Body default,
The FS
BODY.
adders? No, the FS adders. Is there an E in there? Or is it just
Yeah,
there is?
isn't it? FS, or maybe did I
I
not
don't
do it right?
think
Let me
so.
look up.
It looks weird to me.
It's weird. The syntax. Oh, you're right. SATTRS.
Okay,
You're right.
it looked weird, and I was like, is that? I mean, because it's ATTR and then in the
Yeah,
middle it buttes, so it's not
yeah.
FS
Okay, let's make sure
attribute.
that.
Yeah, you got another typo up in
So
there
this
in a
is,
comment, I think.
yeah. I got all kinds of typos. I mean, that's how I roll.
That's what code reviews are for.
Code reviews.
You
So
should
last.
just type G/fsattrs//fsattrs. And then you'll
Oh, I
fix
mean,
all
I'll
of
just
them.
select it all and be like, "Hey, robot, fix it."
Very
Okay, so
good.
let's. You know what? I don't need to. All right, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't need
anyway.
to fix
Okay, well that's
typos.
cool.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay, so
know
this.
that. Wow.
Okay, so that is cool. How cool is it?
Let's see.
I think it's gonna be so wicked.
This is the break stuff portion of the
This
episode.
is the break stuff portion of the demo that I didn't test time, but I expect it's gonna break because
Well,
it's gonna touch the database. It's gonna make the database immutable. You
so
know?
yesterday when I was debugging SUSE problems with changing password, I read a bunch of
Yeah.
stories about people installing new PAM, right?
Uh-huh.
And that stuff just that breaks everything. Like I can't log in anymore. What should I do? And they're like, put your disk in another computer. Okay, you're screwed. Pam won't let you
Oh
log
my
in or
gosh,
do anything.
we're gonna break our own logging. I'm just
You-
thinking of all the things that we're gonna
yeah.
break.
What's immutable, right?
I mean, everything that we touch is gonna be immutable.
Although, I guess anything that we manipulate will be fine, right? If we manipulate it with a files promise, it'll still work. But if we like run a command on it, it won't work, right?
But you know
Because
what I'm seeing here, Craig, actually,
yeah.
it looks like it's not covered in the implementation. I would have expected to see a whole bunch of notices about
Oh, like
set immutable.
maybe the immutable bits portion of things doesn't pay attention to that mysterious global.
Or maybe it did it. Yeah, so maybe fsattrs isn't included in that, which is very plausible. So good, we maybe found a bug.
Okay.
Or it ran in the background while I was jibber jabbering.
Right, because you have CFEngine running.
Right.
Yeah, you should always turn that off when you start fiddling. We need to have that cowboy
way
mode.
less exciting though.
Yeah. We really need that CF cowboy.
All right, so var CFEngine.
How's it look?
Nope. Yeah, I think it's not covered.
Okay.
Because like we definitely apply permissions to like files promises to stuff.
It would have been epic, Nick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it will be epic. It
will
just
be epic.
will be epic later.
The follow-up TikTok video will show how amazing it is.
Okay. Well, sorry for the failed demo there at the end, but any other bright ideas, comments, criticisms on this feature before we wrap up episode 52? Nope. All right. Like, subscribe, support us on Patreon only plans. See you guys next time.